The crowd gathered tight around the corral, dust hanging in the air like a held breath. Men with cracked hands, women clutching shawls, children pulled back by their collars. All of them spoke at once, voices overlapping, desperate, raw. Don't. Don't do this, someone cried, and then another, louder, closer. The rancher stood inside the fence, boots planted, jaw locked. He didn't shout back. He didn't explain. His eyes stayed on the post in front of him, the rope coiled heavy in his hands. This wasn't anger. This was resolve. A preacher stepped forward, Bible trembling against his chest, warning of sin, of consequences, of a town that would never forgive. The rancher finally looked up, slow and steady, like a man counting the cost and paying it anyway. His face showed no pride, no fear, only a tired certainty. The wind creaked the boards. A horse snorted somewhere behind him. "You can still stop," a woman said, her voice breaking. He didn't answer. He tightened the knot. The sound of rope sliding through calloused fingers felt louder than the crowd. When he turned back toward them, it wasn't to ask permission. It was to let them know the decision had already been made. The moment he acted, the town erupted. Shouts turned sharp, ugly, accusatory. Someone hurled a stone that landed short, kicking dust at his boots. Another spat his name like a curse. The rancher moved with calm precision, each motion deliberate, almost ritualistic, as if chaos couldn't reach him inside this small circle of purpose. Old friends pushed forward, faces red, veins standing out, demanding he stop, demanding he remember who he was. He remembered. That was the problem. He remembered every slight, every broken promise, every night he swallowed his pride so the town could sleep easy. Hands grabbed the fence, rattling it, but no one crossed it. Fear still worked, just not on him. He finished what he started, slow enough that they had time to look away, fast enough that it couldn't be undone. When it was done, silence crashed down harder than the shouting ever had. No cheers. No relief. Just the hollow sound of something permanent settling into place. The rancher stood there, breathing steady, knowing this was the point of no return. Whatever he had been to them before was gone now, buried under the weight of his choice. The outrage came next, thick and poisonous. The sheriff arrived too late on purpose, badge dull, eyes refusing to meet the ranchers. Orders were barked, laws were quoted, but none of it carried conviction. The town didn't want justice. They wanted someone to blame, someone to punish so the world could make sense again. The rancher stepped out of the corral on his own, hands empty, posture unbroken. Someone screamed that he was a monster. Someone else called him a hero and was immediately shouted down. The divide split fast and deep, like a crack in dry earth. He walked through them, every step heavy, every stare cutting. He didn't argue. He didn't beg. He let their hatred wash over him because he knew it was easier for them to hate him than face what they'd allowed for years. Doors slammed as he passed. A child he once carried on his shoulders hid behind her mother's skirt. That hurt more than the threats. By the time he reached the edge of town, the sun was dropping low, painting everything red, like the land itself was taking sides. That night, the town couldn't sleep. Lamps burned late, whispers crawled through walls, and the story twisted with every telling. Some said the rancher had finally snapped. Others said he'd done what no one else was brave enough to do. Out on his land, miles away, he sat alone on the porch, listening to the quiet he'd earned. He knew they'd come for him eventually, papers, guns, or both. He accepted that. What he didn't accept was regret. He stared out at the dark fields, remembering the pleas, the begging, the moment he chose to move anyway. It hadn't been easy. It had been necessary. The town would wear its outrage like a badge, but deep down, it would change. Rules would be questioned. Silence would cost more. And long after his name was cursed or forgotten, the echo of what he did would remain. He took a slow breath, the night air cool and honest, and for the first time in a long while, he felt the weight lift, knowing he'd stood alone, and stood firm.